All right, in compliance with the Open Public Meetings Law, I wish to state that on March the 4th, 2006, the notice of this meeting of the Upper Township Committee was posted on the official Township Bulletin Board, mailed to the Cape May County Gazette, the Atlantic City Press, the Ocean City Sentinel Ledger, the Herald Times, and filed with the Township Clerk. Tonight's meeting is being video recorded up until the closed session portion of this meeting and will be available on UTTV Channel 97 on the Upper Township website. I hereby direct that this announcement be made a part of the minutes of this meeting. I would ask all to rise, and I would also ask that you remain standing just for a second after the salute to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So I'd like to have a moment of silence. We'll acknowledge Nancy Reagan passing on, but that's not what I want the moment of silence for. I would really like to have a moment of silence for Alice Teal, who passed away. She was a person that had come to the Township Committee meetings regularly for like over 20 years, many years. In fact, one of the pews acknowledged that she had always sat in the same seat for many years until she actually retired and went to an assisted living facility. There's only two people that have their names. Elizabeth Burgess was one and Alice was the other. So anyway, she passed away, so we'll just have a moment of silence for her. Thank you. Would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Barr?
Here.
Mr. Coggins?
Here.
Mr. Pearson?
Here.
Mr. Young?
Here.
Mayor Colombo?
Here.
All members are present.
Okay. So would someone like to make a motion to approve the minutes from February 22nd budget workshop, the regular meeting, and the closed session meeting minutes?
So moved. Second.
Is there any corrections, deletions, omissions that anyone's aware of? Hearing none. Would you call the roll?
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Pearson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mayor Colombo?
Yes.
Motion is carried.
All right. So, Barbara, do you have anything for us this evening?
I just have one item. I received a request from the St. Maximilian Colby Parish to hold their Easter sunrise service on the Strathmere Beach. And this is a request that they've made for many years now, and they are in compliance with the insurance. They did submit an insurance certificate for the event, and I have been talking to Mr. Dietrich about the availability of the beach and which beach they could utilize for that. So I just need authority to grant their request.
Okay. Someone like to make that motion to grant the request?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. And let the record reflect that several of the members of this committee are members of St. Maximilian Colby, namely myself, Mr. Barr, Mr. Coggins.
And your solicitor.
And the solicitor.
So there's
So
a thing called
in an
a
effort
necessity.
to at least be forthright and not, act like we're in conflict here, we'll still take the vote. I think it's appropriate, and I don't think anyone's going to question God, so let's call the roll.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Pearson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mayor Colombo?
Yes.
Motion is carried. Thank you very much.
If I could
That's
just,
all I have.
anything we'll have to keep an eye on, if before the service, if for some reason the endangered birds show up, we may have to slide the service one direction or another, and I'll keep in touch with the Barbara and the church, so she'll communicate that with the church, so that if something comes up,
Yeah, I mean, fortunately, it's really early this year.
right.
So-
I wouldn't anticipate a problem, but I'm just,
Right.
we'll be in touch with them in case we have to move the service one block or another.
Okay, that's fine.
And that's all I have.
Okey-doke.
Thank you.
Daniel?
Nothing at this time, but we have a number of contract negotiation, litigation, and personnel matters for closed session.
Okay. Paul?
Just wanted to update the committee on the two bridge projects that are going on opposite ends of the township. It does not appear that the Garden State Parkway Bridge will be done, I'll say before the summer season. They've been trying to work, talk with the contractor to get them to move faster, but between the weather that we've had, they just have not been able to set the beams in a timely fashion with the high winds and the weather we've had. So, you know, I think we can anticipate that they'll most likely be towards the end of the summer before they can switch the traffic over onto the new bridge. But we'll keep you up to date on that as that moves closer to the summer season. The other project, the Route 50 bridge, they did start doing a test pile. They successfully drove one test pile, and the existing bridge made out pretty well. So they anticipate that they'll be able to continue pile driving. They did not have a lot of vibration effects on the old bridge, which they had concerns about. And most of the roadway work should be done before school is out within the downtown part of Tuckahoe, so that way, before summer season really starts, that end of the project will be the proper configuration, so we won't have the lane shifts that kind of plagued us last year. We have had some requests from some residents from Corbin City and Estelle Manor regarding putting up additional signage and the like, and the DOT has been fairly responsive to those requests about putting up additional signage on some of the local streets, about trying to keep the trucks off of it and different traffic off of some of the local streets, predominantly over in Estelle Manor and Corbin City. But I know you committee received some of those letters. I just wanted to let you know that they've been trying to respond to those letters as they come in.
Well, and you saw the one from this Miss McPeak?
Yeah, that's one of a couple that the DOT.
I mean,
issues.
I think one of the things that she is, if there's one statement in here, I think that really kind of makes a lot of sense is, and that is that, those folks that are traveling down, I guess, 40, or, 40 to 55 or one of those, or 50, that, they could post signs around Mays Landing and stuff to make them go an alternate route to Atlantic City or something like that. I mean, because I think what they probably should do is at least alert people that there's going to be a lot of traffic especially with the way they have the lights set up now. I mean, it's one way, and it really, we were all at the Tuckahoe fire installation, and it literally takes you, 10 minutes sometimes to get over that bridge, so.
I agree, and that is one of the things that I think they're having it.
I mean, we're going to have it on both sides. This is from Corbin City, but
Yes.
it's not like Tuckahoe's not going to have the same problem.
Yes, they will. And I think, and I agree, and that's one of the, things I asked them to really look at is, additional signage north of the project site, to alert them in Mays Landing, alert them before they get off the expressway, to not use Route 50 as a route to the shore.
It even makes sense to put it, potentially on the Parkway before they get off at exit 20. Because on the weekend, that's really going to be backed up.
Yes.
I mean, it's something that it's an inconvenience, and it's something that has to be done. I mean, the project's well on its way. But, having said that, I think we're doing motorists and transient, tourist folks that don't have any idea of what's going on. If we alert them to the fact that probably there's a better route, that may also, we're doing them a favor as well, so.
I agree.
Paul, there was discussion too about in the summertime, they would limit the traffic over the bridge to only northbound only?
At this point, that the DOT is not
Not going to change that?
not changing for that at this point. They feel that that's just going to add additional, to have traffic in just one direction would just add to confusion, as well as possibly, creating more traffic, tie-ups, trying to get out onto Route 49 at the river.
Could they put a detour sign at Washington, the traffic light on 49, and make that a complete detour, except for local traffic, and that would take away that whole traffic light, then on 1-2 Woodbine, out Corson Tavern, and back around?
They could, but that's not going to, it's not going to help the people going to Ocean City.
Sure, they can come around, then the Township, Petersburg Road, and come right back around again. I mean, it'd be faster than having them sitting in traffic on 49 and blocking it up.
They had, if you recall, when they replaced the 49 bridge over New Jersey Transit for Memorial Day weekend, it got detoured that way, and they they had traffic all the way backed up all through. You're just moving where
Oh, I know that.
the backup is.
But I'm just looking at the bridge
Because-
traffic, if it's one lane, and then we're trying to feed in 49, making a right-hand turn too, that's just gonna be a complete quagmire there.
Because it already backs up through Woodbine and Woodbine Ocean View Road currently. So if you added all that traffic, it's just gonna, you're just moving where the traffic tie-up is.
Yeah, but at least it can move two ways, not one way. You know, that's what I'm just saying, if there's any way, maybe, to me, it just takes away that cluster that we're gonna have down there. People
Again,
trying to make left-hand turns and traffic coming, and they don't have that whole thing coordinated with the traffic light from the bridge to the traffic light. That's gonna be an absolute nightmare.
You know, I know that you're meeting with them, and I appreciate the updates, but it may make sense at one point when we get closer, you know, maybe in April or something, where we have them come for us, and we can voice some concerns to them as well. Or maybe even, you know, schedule some even kind of joint thing and bring some of the folks from Corbin City in as well. Because last summer was very confusion, and there was a lot of things going on. This summer's gonna be worse. And, you know, I mean, obviously, they get through the summer, we'll probably start seeing some daylight, but we really need to take a look at it. Because the problem is that the residential areas are gonna be really affected by it. People are gonna be trying to do shortcuts, they're gonna be making turns, thinking they can cut around. And so the areas that normally aren't used to having traffic will now have traffic as well. Okay.
One other thing with the Parkway Bridge, do we anticipate any problems with the parking lot this year due to construction?
No, they have sufficient parking up on the bridge now that I don't anticipate that same problem where we had last year, because they're working on the abutment and right at that area. I don't see that being an issue.
But how about with the bike, with the ramp that's coming off, the construction there? Is that gonna interfere at all?
They may have some construction activity there, though I would anticipate that yeah, they'll either have that done beforehand or they'll wait till after the season's over for that work.
May wanna confirm that with them, though, make sure we don't
I
run
will.
into that problem.
Are they grading the parking lot? You know, the potholes and the big trucks and everything there, or just?
They come in, you know, after we have to call them and kind of remind them every once in a while to come in, but they have been, yes.
Okay,
That's all I had, thank you.
okay. Barbara?
Just have one item this evening. We have an employee, emergency management deputy, one of our deputies requesting to go to the emergency management conference in Atlantic City. It'll be the first week in May for 3 days. It's $75, but it's the length of the conference that brings the request to you. So we just need approval of.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Would you call the roll?
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Pearson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mayor Palumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried. That's all I have, thank you.
Okay, Mr. Coggins?
We've, as you know, we've gotten through the budget. We will be on schedule to introduce the budget at our meeting on the 21st.
Great,
And
Good job.
nothing else.
okay, excellent. Mr. Young?
Just a few things. Amanda's Field, we're moving along with that. We've got, I think all the wires are pulled or almost pulled on it. Right now, the dugouts are formed up and getting ready to be poured. Doing some final grading on some of it and getting ready to run a drain. And they've been running the fencing material, getting that up. So we're making pretty good headway on that. March 19th, we are holding our annual spring fling / Easter egg hunt. That'll be at Amanda's Field beginning at 1 o'clock. We are looking for volunteers to help us stuff eggs and to man some of the things we've got going on there. Especially with the eggs, we've got 20,000 Easter eggs to prep for, so we're not gonna run short this year. We're gonna have, the characters will be there again, the Easter Bunny, Cinderella, Prince Charming, and we'll have Cinderella carriage set up again for further opportunities for the parents and and different things, events for the kids, and also the petting zoo. So again, if any organizations or anybody wants to volunteer, let me know, or get a hold of Barb, and we'll arrange it through the clerk's office.
Maybe even kids that have community service for the schools.
Yeah, we had kids help us before, and it didn't do us much good. So it's, when you get that many eggs.
Yeah.
Now, last year, a lot of the ones we bought pre-stuffed, but with 20,000, we can't afford to do that. And we had a gentleman that bought all the Easter eggs, except for about 3,000 of them, all the plastic shells and candy. So it really saved us quite a bit of money. But, we're gonna ask some of the civic organizations maybe to meet us and help us.
When are you thinking about doing this?
This is more, probably the Wednesday before the 19th, so I'm not sure what.
You're gonna do 20,000 eggs in like 2 days?
No, what we're gonna do is probably cook them at like 500 and say, take these bags and get them done and bring them back,
Okay.
So we are looking for that. And the other thing, I wanted to question again, the Old Republican Club and the Seventh-day Adventist School over there is still for sale. I talked to Paul about it a few times, and you said that the realtor has to take care of these things?
We just need a letter from them saying they're interested.
I thought you said it was
purchasing.
the realtor had to make the application.
No, I just said, I told you we needed a letter from them that we can send down with us, with an application to go down.
From Seventh-day Adventist.
Yes.
All right, I misunderstood you.
Yeah, I can help fill the application out and get the application down, but I need their letter saying the property is wanting to enter into the program.
All right, well, I'm gonna get you the number for the realtor on it that's handling it, because he has never done one before, so he doesn't know what's supposed to be in it or anything.
Well, is it from the realtor, or is it from the seller that has the
Should be the
intent?
seller.
Right. It's his wife's uncle, so he can get a hold of Roger for us and take care of that for us.
Well, could we draft a letter that we could,
Just, I mean.
I just really don't wanna miss the
Like a
boat on this.
template, so that, that's actually a very good idea. We can put a template together, then they have exactly what they need,
They can
what you
sign it.
need, and all they need to do is sign it.
If you can have them get a hold of me, just so I know who to contact, I'll get the draft.
All right, I'll have Kevin get a hold of you, all right? And again, so, I walked it the other day, and looking at it, right now, the way that things are at Amanda's Field with all the equipment parked out by Route 50, it's kind of an eyesore there for me. Also, with all the trash cans that are left out there, we had no place to put them unless we drag them out of Amanda's and put them at the community center. If we could get this property, it gives us a chance to maybe put some fenced-in areas. We're doing the winter months, we can get that stuff out of there. And instead of having them blow all over the place.
Well, the thing, I think you have to be careful, and Dan, maybe you can chime in on this, or even Paul. If we're applying for open space, I thought that part of it is that it needs to be used for something that the public can utilize.
It will be.
So, but, I mean, I don't know that you can just store things there, though.
Well, the building itself, we figured, we looked at it, it's got a kitchen, it's got bathrooms, it's got an office, and they've got I guess, the middle of it's from that wall to here, and probably to Paul, that's a wide open meeting room.
There will be restrictions on it, it have to be,
So we'll be able to use it for
Well,
meetings and clinics and,
But I was more concerned when you said that, we could be storing trash cans, because we won't be approved for that, if that's what we're gonna, that's what our intent
right,
is.
that's fine. But, as I'm looking at it, it's just, it's for the whole complex, that's why I think there's a problem with it. So, again, it's just, I think, properties don't come available too often around that park. So this would definitely be an added building we can use, so. I just want to make sure we get on top of it and before it's sold, and see if we can get it picked up. Other than that, that's really all I have.
Okay. Mr. Barr.
I have nothing to report, sir.
Good for you. Mr. Pearson.
Just a couple things. I met with the fire chiefs at the monthly meeting, and the topic of discussion was 4th of July, and they're prepping for it, and they're going to start to do their safety plans so that we can provide that to our CHIF family. And along with that, we have to get a letter down to the county and on closing the roads there in Strathmere from Prescott, or I'm sorry, to close Commonwealth Avenue from Prescott Avenue to Williams Avenue, 10 to 11:30 on the 4th of July, rain date the 5th of July. So we need to our approval here as a committee, so I would move that we make that happen, and Barbara will carry out the letter.
Okay, is there a second?
Second?
Let's call the roll.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Pearson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mayor Palumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried.
One final thing, I've tried to reach out to Corbin City on renewing our court agreement with them, our mutual agreement, and I have not been able to make contact with them. I've left
That's a
them my
closed
number.
session.
Barbara's left them my
Yeah.
number.
That's,
We do have a closed session item on that.
Oh, it's on a
Talk
closed
about that.
session?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I didn't look at that sign. I'll hold it.
Okay. I just actually have a couple things. One, Lieutenant Pearson from the State Troopers asked me to remind everyone that they're going to have another medicine disposal drop-off. It's going to be at the Acme on Shore Road in Ocean View from 10 to noon, Thursday, March 17th. So it really is something to take advantage of if you have any type of old prescriptions that you have in the medicine cabinet that weren't finished, or certainly if you have controlled substances in there, anything can be disposed of, no questions asked. The idea is to get as much of this medication off the streets and not available to kids or anybody else that may attempt to use it. Controlled substances really what was the impetus to start this whole program, but they take all kinds of medications back, and really makes sense because there are, typically everybody stores medicine in the medicine cabinet in the bathroom. It's probably the worst place to store meds, long-term, because of humidity and everything else that degrades the medicine. So anyway, I'm playing pharmacist with that part of it. But again, it's Thursday, March 17th, 10 to noon at the Acme Market. And then one other thing, there's been a couple areas that have seen solicitors go through the township or go through neighborhoods, knock on doors, try and sell things. There was one in my neighborhood, I guess about 3 weeks ago, about solar panels. They were walking up and knocking on doors, and asking questions, or, and interested. And there was a couple other areas where some folks had some concerns where people were going around and asking, soliciting, whether it's, I guess even landscapers, anything. And we have an ordinance that says you can't do that. And so I would suggest that maybe because the media is here and we have an opportunity to have this meeting, taped, that the residents acknowledge when someone's in the area, and at a minimum, they could call us. If we can reach out to the state troopers or vice versa, because there's a lot of things going on with folks that are fishing for information. They may appear that they're selling something, they don't seem to have anything with them, and they could find out other things from a security standpoint, as if you let them in your home and you talk to the people. So I think it's best to say that if you have any suspicion of somebody not acting properly, that they should either call us or call the state troopers to let them know, because we do have an ordinance that says that you're not allowed to do that. So that's all I have. So let's go on to the resolutions.
okay, item number 1, authorizing the annual 4th of July fireworks display.
Move the resolution. Second?
Call the roll.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Pearson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mayor Palumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried. Item number 2, declaring the gypsy moth a public nuisance and public hearing.
Move the resolution.
It goes without saying.
Second?
Call the roll, please.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Pearson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mayor Palumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried. Item number 3, authorizing an addendum to an agreement with the Cooper Health System for basic life support, ambulance services, and expanded medical director services.
Move the resolution.
Second?
Call the roll.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Pearson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mayor Palumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried. Number 4, authorizing mayor to sign FEMA certification for participating in the community rating system.
Move the resolution.
Second.
Okay, this is something that Paul works with us. Would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Pearson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mayor Plumbo?
Yes. Yes.
Carried. Item number 5, amending resolution number 12, 2016, confirming appointment of various employees to annual and specified terms.
Move the resolution.
Second?
Right?
Would you call the roll?
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Pearson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mayor Plumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried. Item number 6, 2016 revised temporary budget.
Move the resolution.
Second.
And this is something that we move until we have our actual budget approved. We obviously still have to pay bills, so. Let's call the roll, please.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Pearson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mayor Plumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried. Item number 7, accepting the bid and authorizing the execution of a contract with Site One Landscape Supply of Cleveland, Ohio for the supply of irrigation supplies at Amanda's Field in the amount of $33,069.27.
Just a question on this, Paul. What areas are we, I know we got 1 or 2 ball fields to do.
It's the 2 T-ball C-League fields and then the other additional Little League field.
So it'll be 2 Little League fields. We have the other 2 are already done. Babe Ruth and 1 is done.
Right, Babe Ruth and 2 Little Leagues are done. It's the
So-
other one. Actually, 2, yeah. The 2 C-League fields and then 1 Little League field. And then tying in part of it, another main.
So we have to run mains and everything on it.
Just a small connector, because we relocated that field, so, to not have the main underneath the infield, we had to relocate that main outside of the,
All right. I was just surprised when I saw the figure, that's all.
Any other discussion? Let's call the roll.
Do I have a
Oh,
first and second?
all right, that's right, you started.
Motion to
I missed
accept.
Second?
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Pearson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mayor Plumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried. Item number 8, accepting the bid and authorizing the execution of a contract with the Dawson Corporation, Clarksburg, New Jersey, for the supply of infield mix at Amanda's Field in the amount of $27,531.25.
Motion to accept.
Second?
And this was for the infield mix, not for the warning track? For both? Okay. That's what I needed.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Pearson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mayor Plumbo?
Yes.
Carried. Item number 9, authorizing the execution of an NJDP TWA1 application, statement of consent form regarding 2058 South Shore Road, Upper Township, Block 561, Lot 25.
Move the resolution.
Second.
And this is the same type of thing that we do in Strathmere, just to say that they're
Correct.
following all the rules and.
Correct, and we actually, you've already adopted this one previously, however, at the time, they only had preliminary site plan approval. They had subsequently gone back and received final site plan approval, and they just wanted a corrected, signed treatment work approval permit, saying that, that they have final now, without that restriction. Because they're in the process of submitting next week to the DEP for that permit process.
Let's call the roll.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Pearson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mayor Plumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried. Item number 10, appointing Douglas K. Walker to serve as an additional municipal public defender on an as-needed basis.
Move the resolution.
Second?
Call the roll.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Pearson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mayor Palumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried. Item number 11, this is a tax refund for Block 567.01, Lot 5.
Move the resolution.
Second.
Call the roll.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Pearson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mayor Palumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried. Item number 12, public hearing and final adoption of ordinance number 2, 2016, an ordinance amending revised general ordinance, Chapter 6, property maintenance of the Code of Upper Township to control invasive plants.
Okay. So, this is the final hearing for this, and we're opening up for the public if anyone would like to address the Township Committee. And this really is based on some concerns that neighbors had. Originally, it started with just bamboo being invasive, but then there's other vines and things that grow extensively and creep into other individuals' properties and everything else. So this is something that will prohibit that, and will certainly prohibit future plantings of these particular plants. So if anyone's here to address that, now's the time to do it. Okay, I would like the record reflect that there was no public comment to this ordinance hearing. We'll close the public portion and entertain a motion for adoption.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Pearson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mayor Palumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried. Item number 13, public hearing and final adoption of ordinance number 3, 2016, an ordinance adopting revised general ordinance, chapter 20, zoning, the code of Upper Township.
And Paul, you just want to give a quick summary? I know it's affordable accessory apartments, but what does that mean for the public?
The ordinance would allow for an accessory apartment located within the commercial zones to enter into the township's affordable housing program. They would receive a subsidy from the township. That subsidy would come out of the Affordable Housing Trust Fund, which are dollars that we collect from developers that, construct improvements within the township. They would then, for that apartment, they would provide a deed restriction to the township for a 30-year period, and they would have to, rent the accessory apartment to somebody that meets the low to moderate, the moderate income level household. It can be an existing accessory apartment, or they can add an accessory apartment to the project. Accessory apartments are permitted use currently within the commercial zone, so it kind of fits into the neighborhood and character of those areas.
Okay. So at this time, since it's a final hearing, I'll open up to the public if anyone would like to address the Township Committee on this particular ordinance, number 3, 2016. Let the record reflect that there was no public comment on this ordinance, so we'll close the public portion and entertain a motion for adoption.
Before you do that, I just wanted to report that we did get a consistency report from the planning board, that it is consistent with the master plan, and that's one of the requirements. Otherwise, you need a supermajority. Not that we would have trouble getting that, but just to report that back to you.
Okay,
Move to adopt.
Second.
would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Pearson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mayor Palumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried. Item number 14, under new business, United Railroad Historical Society of New Jersey requests the use of the Tuckahoe train station on April 23rd, 2016 for the Southern New Jersey Spring Heritage Festival.
Well, we put an application in for use, or how does that work with,
Yes,
and they're gonna need, I guess, everything like anybody else?
yes, they'll have to comply with the facility use requirements as far as insurance, fees.
Any estimate of how many people you think are gonna be down there, did they say, or? I
Their
know it's quite hard to tell.
Well, their application calls for, let me pull that out here,
What's he asking?
how many people they were asking for on the application.
They had, I believe, just figured a couple hundred, but it doesn't say.
I think they were, I believe it's going to be over, I know for a fact it's going to be over 100.
Okay.
That's why the application has come before the
The use of the
committee.
facility goes from 7 a.m. to 10
Yes.
p.m. So obviously, I don't think all those people are going to be there at the same time.
No, they won't be.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
and they will have to, like I said, comply with all the requirements.
Looking for a motion to approve? Make, motion to approve the application.
Second.
Would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Pearson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mayor Palumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried. Item number 15, Michael Ron Esquire has making an application for Rose A. Ordilli, request for the Township of Upper to accept privately owned property, Block 736, Lot 45.
We have these requests occasionally. It's a land donation to the township. There is a map that's out on Roosevelt Boulevard. If you're inclined to accept it, conditional, before we do a resolution accepting it, Paul would have to confirm that there's no physical problem with the property or environmental problems. And then we'd also have to confirm, get a title search on the property to make sure that the deed's appropriate. We have run into problems in the past where a property's been inherited through a few generations, and there have been title issues because they didn't get the proper heirs to sign off. So we'd have to look into that. If you're inclined to accept it, I suggest that you do so. We'll do it by formal resolution, but those conditions should have to be met before we bring a resolution back to you.
Great.
So at this point, are we taking it as an FYI, or?
No, if you want us to move forward, we'd have to investigate it.
Well, the only thing I was
I'd
going
have
to
to
say is,
contact
should
you.
we re-agendize it? Because I would think that before we can vote on it, we need to know if it's property that we can, I mean, we could vote to say, yeah, go forward with it, but.
Well, conditionally. In other words,
Yeah.
if you want to go forward, I would suggest that Paul confirm that he doesn't feel there's any issues with it environmentally, if there's no dumping
I
there.
mean, I have looked at it, there's no issues.
It's out by yesterday's, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just on the backside of yesterday's, and it goes beyond Vaughn's Farm Market and yesterday's.
Yeah, so I don't anticipate it, but we usually do that just to make sure.
Yeah.
And then secondly, I would, for the title issues, contact the attorney for
Right.
the landowner and say, have you got a title search on it? If you haven't, we're gonna have to get one, and once we get it, then we'll tell you whether or not we'll accept it. Because if it's bad title, you can't take a deed, bad title,
Okay,
Agree.
so would someone like to make that motion?
I agree that we should move forward conditionally and try to investigate the property.
Is there a second?
Second.
Would you call the roll?
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Pearson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mayor Palumbo?
Yes.
Motion's carried. Item number 16, under new business, New Bridge Road improvements.
Someone want to give us an update?
Sure.
I can't seem to open that, these attachments from the new business right now.
The attachment was, it's a scale drawing of the proposed, part of the proposed drainage improvements that they're looking at. Sure you're familiar with New Bridge Road. It runs behind Seal Tavern, connecting, out from Summers Avenue and Route 50 back along to Corson Tavern Road. As I'm sure we've all driven on that road, it's in pretty bad shape and, has some drainage issues. Unfortunately, because that right-of-way is so narrow, there is no place to send drainage. The only place that is really available to connect to a drainage system would be to tie into the township's drainage system off of Belcroft Avenue and tie into the township's drainage system that it ties in that subdivision. There is sufficient capacity within our system to handle the small amount of drainage that would be on New Bridge Road, and it would definitely be a positive result in removing the drainage issues off of New Bridge Road and getting that cleared up to tie that into our system.
There's a few practical things that have to be addressed. I haven't seen the plan, so it wasn't sent to me in the mail. It appears from the county engineer's letter that's going to require an easement. They said they would do the initiation and the processing of that. I would have to speak to county council about some of the technical requirements. I'm assuming you would approve the plan.
Correct.
And then there would have to be, I guess, a road restoration plan that Paul would also have to approve. So you would have to give them an easement.
I mean, it's similar to what we're doing on Hope Corson Road, where we're allowing them to go down the Stagecoach, our section of Stagecoach Road and tie into the basin at Island View Terrace. So it's a similar process that we did for that.
Did we have any issues with that basin in the flood? I think it was, I want to say,
2009?
yeah.
No.
That's going back in the big basin, right?
Yes.
Behind in the horseshoe.
Yes.
That's a lake.
Yeah, it's an old gravel pit. So, yeah, there's no issues there.
Okay, so what, you're looking for a motion to move forward with that and work in conjunction with the county?
Yes.
So moved.
Second.
Let's call the roll.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Goggins?
Yes.
Mr. Pearson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mayor Palumbo?
Yes.
Motion's carried. Item number 17, we have a budget update.
This just, I don't know, John, if you want to, or you want me to say something. This just really, I cleaned up the spreadsheet after our last budget workshop. These are the capital requests that you had approved. If everyone is in agreement to it, I can get it to bond council and have them draft a bond ordinance for you.
I reviewed the spreadsheet this week, and it is as we discussed at the last budget workshop, so I'm satisfied with it.
Okay, so would someone like to make a motion to allow Barbara to move forward and contact the bond people so we can get this process underway?
So moved?
Second.
Would you call the roll?
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Pearson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mayor Palumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried.
All right, would someone like to make a motion to pay the bills?
I hereby move that all claims submitted for payment at this meeting be approved and then incorporated into the full minutes of this meeting.
Second.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Pearson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mayor Palumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried.
There were a number of reports from the municipal departments, municipal clerk, finance office, construction code, tax assessor, tax collector, MUA report, EMS department report. These will all be available tomorrow morning upon request of the clerk's office, but I would like to make a motion to accept these reports.
Second.
Would you call the roll?
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Pearson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mayor Palumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried.
Excuse me.
So at this time, we've reached the public comment section of the meeting. If anyone would like to address the Township Committee, now's the time to do it. Please state your name and your address and, what you would like to talk to the Township Committee about.
Guess I'm the only one.
Karen?
Okay, my name's Karen Mitchell. I live at 21 Williams Avenue in Strathmere. I'm also the president of Citizens for Strathmere and Whale Beach. First thing I want to talk about is I want to thank the Township Committee and Paul Dietrich for keeping us informed about township matters that pertain to Strathmere. By you keeping us up to date, you then are able to disseminate accurate and current Township Strathmere news via our databases and social media. With your help, Strathmere is then well informed. Instead of false rumors going around, real and current facts are easily available to all. So I thank you for that.
Thank you.
Great.
Thank you.
Last fall, I addressed the Township Committee. I informed you about the deterioration of the Strathmere playground. With your leadership and the help of Paul Dietrich, within days, Public Works began to make those necessary repairs. The Public Works men worked hard and long, and I just met with Paul Dietrich to discuss the new proposed Strathmere playground that you are hopefully budgeting for 2016. And it looks really great, and I had very few suggestions. One was that I think it would be good to eliminate any kind of picnic tables, and in lieu of picnic tables, maybe place a couple more pieces of equipment. I think having picnic tables there may open up a can of worms, and since it's our only playground, 2 additional pieces of equipment would be very helpful, I think.
Is there park benches included in the plan?
Park benches, yes.
I think benches would be really great.
She didn't want the tables, to kind of keep people lingering there in the after hours in the evening, compared to, benches, there you can enjoy it while the kids are playing and that kind of light. So we'll have plenty of benches.
And it eliminates the seagull problem.
You're right. Well, anyway, It should be noted that this is an example of government basically functioning at its best. And you, the Township Committee, 1, listened to what I had to say, 2, understood what I had to say, 3, showed leadership through action, 4, followed through, 5, kept your promises, and 6, are attempting to satisfy the needs of the public by being fiscally responsible. So I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there any other comments? Michael looks like he's full. I also want to acknowledge our state trooper in the back. Thank you for coming this evening. I appreciate that. So at this time, since there are no other public comment, we'll close the public portion of the meeting, and I'll turn it over to Mr. Coggins to read a statement to go into executive session.
I hereby move that a resolution be incorporated into the minutes authorizing the Township Committee to enter into an executive session for the following matters pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act. Contract negotiation for shared services with Corbin City for municipal court services. The collective bargaining agreement, McMenamin, Scotland and Bauman LLC, market to affordable program closing documents. Litigation for affordable housing and Upper Township versus Yank and Sansone, and personnel matters. I also included in my motion the estimated time and the circumstances under which the discussion conducted in closed session can be disclosed to the public as follows. It is anticipated that the matters discussed in closed session may be disclosed to the public upon the determination of the Township Committee that the public interest will no longer be served by such confidentiality. With respect to contract negotiations, such matters will be made public when negotiations have ceased and there is no longer a reason for confidentiality. With respect to litigation matters, such discussions will be made public when litigation is complete and the applicable appeal period has expired. With respect to employment and personnel matters, such discussions will be made public if and when formal action is taken or when the individuals involved consent that it can be made public.
Second, would you call the roll?
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Pearson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mayor Plummer?
Yes.
Motion is carried.
So we're going to move into executive session. We thank you all for attending this evening. Please drive safely home. Have a great week.